This is my 2020 KTM 390 Adventure that I bought brand new 3 years ago. I have made a lot of modifications. After looking at what I spent, it was a bit surprising. So stick around if you want to see how much it was. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. I wanted to do a review of all the modifications that I have made to my 2020 KTM 390 Adventure. One is just to cover everything that I've done in case you're newer to the channel and you haven't gone back to see the old stuff. Also, just to let you know how much I have spent on this. So I will give a total at the end. As I go through each of the modifications, I don't remember exactly what it was in my mind, so I'll just drop a number down here in the corner and then we'll add it up all at the end. So I'm going to start at the front of the bike and then we're just going to work our way through all of the things that I have done. When I started penciling it out on a list, I was really shocked at just how much I've done to this bike. Now, a lot of the stuff that I have done isn't necessary. It was just things that I wanted to do to improve the quality of the ride, the way the bike fits me, some of the off-road riding that I did and why I wanted to do that. So I'll cover a few of the things, why I did each of these modifications, just so if it's something you're interested in, you know why I did it. I won't spend a lot of time on it because I do have videos on everything that I have done. But I think it's worth compiling everything in an update at the 3-year mark and just over 27,000 miles. So let's get to it. Oh, yeah, cramp. Oh, that hurt. Oh. Right here at the front of the bike, there's a couple of obvious things. Spoked wheels. In 2020, they didn't have spoke wheels, they came with cast. I decided to go with spoked wheels just in case I did damage a wheel riding off-road, although the cast turned out to be pretty strong. I found a small flat spot in the front wheel on the cast, and then I also learned that when I called, there were only 2 sets of these wheels in the country at the time, and KTM was discontinuing them, so it really made me just make that decision to get these wheels. So that's why I have the spoked wheels. If there wasn't a shortage of wheels at the time, I might have waited a little bit longer, but I had to do something if I wanted the spoked wheels. All right, the next thing is very obvious, is the high fender kit. When I was riding on the East Coast, there's a lot more mud than I'm used to riding here in the West, so I wanted to get the higher fender so that my low fender wouldn't pack up with mud. So that was a high fender kit from Tusk. And then you can also see the shock socks. I put these on to try to help keep dirt and debris out of the seals in an effort to prevent the seals from leaking. I've seen some posts of guys losing the seals on these forks, so I thought maybe that was a preemptive thing to do. The next thing in here is I put the Hyper Pro progressive fork springs in here. Great modification. I think doing the suspension on this bike, in my opinion, and the way I ride and my weight and the luggage that I carry, it's mandatory. It's necessary to get the most out of this bike. Up here, this is the 3rd windscreen that I have tried. No, scratch that, 4th windscreen that I have tried. And I really think that the GV is probably the best one that I've done. I've made a few modifications from the video I did. I put a little spacer in here so it's tilted it up a little bit more, and it is a much better solution. Under here is a radiator guard, and the radiator guard was a gift. I was going to do it anyway, but it prevents some sticks and stones from going in here. I had noticed, even with the plastic guard, that some of the fins on the radiator had gotten bent, so I'm really happy to have this radiator guard on here. All right, what you can't see back here is fork extenders. Those were sent to me by Nice CNC. They'd asked me to do a sponsored video, which I did, and I'm going to do a review of these here in a couple months once I get settled with some of the moving I'm doing. Up front here, there is the hand guards that I put on. I also had changed out the handlebars, and then I put risers on it. When I changed out the handlebars, I went from inch size handlebars, which was stock, up to 1 1/8 inches. And so I need a new clamp, so I've got new clamps on here. I have a GPS mount up front. And then I also have these crash bar bags. I really like these. I keep tools and tire changing repair kit on either side. It takes the weight, lowers the weight, and moves it forward. These have been great. They've held up well, and yeah, I really recommend doing this just to get the weight forward. Down here, I've got the Black Dog CycleWorks skid plate. I think a skid plate that wraps around the engine but doesn't touch it is mandatory for this bike. It doesn't have a ton of ground clearance. This really helps save it. I've smashed this thing into a lot of rocks, some ledgy stuff, and it's held up. If you're gonna ride this bike, it has to be something that wraps around, not something that attaches. I also have Black Dog CycleWorks foot pegs here, and the reason I went with these foot pegs is there was no other choice to get a foot peg leveled out when I bought these, and it also lowers the foot peg about a ½ inch, which I like because it gives me a little bit more cockpit space. So under this dead animal here, this sheepskin cover that I was trying in an effort to solve monkey butt issues is the ergo seat. So I've got the ergo seat under here. It raised the seat height about a ½ inch, but it was definitely more comfortable than the stock seat. I tried a seat concept seat, I hated it. And so going to the ergo seat was a much better solution for the riding that I like to do. Also up here on the hand grips, I replaced these with the Oxford heated hand grips. I wasn't initially going to do it, but in order to ride through the winter, it made sense. And since I was changing the handlebars out, I went ahead and put the heated grips on when I did the handlebars. It was just the timing was right, and it made sense for me to do that. And then up here, I've got the double take mirrors. I don't know if I would do those again. I think I might look at some other options, and I am still considering some other options. So, but it is a modification that I have done. Right here, I'm going to consider putting a tank bag on as a modification. I have the Giant Loop tank bag. I don't remember which one it was, maybe the Diablo. A really big modification that I made to this bike that changed a lot the way this rode and handled was the rear shock. I did a video on that probably about 6 months ago. But the Hyper Pro rear shock was really helped because I had blown out 2 of the stock shocks with the riding that I was doing. They're very simple, and I ride this bike pretty hard and I carry luggage, so it really puts a lot of stress on it. I also removed the resonator, so I have a straight through pipe here by Shift Tech, and that thing has been awesome. It reduced the heat off of the shock, and it added a little bit of throttle response because there isn't quite as much back pressure from the resonator. Still plenty because of the catalytic converters in the header, but I really like getting rid of that because of the heat that it put on the shock, which was my primary purpose for doing that. I also changed out the stock exhaust and put this knockoff aftermarket can on. I was really irritated with the other one, and I did a video on that and why I did it, but anyway, a modification here. Now behind the Wolfman luggage bags here, I've got the Zana International luggage rack, and that was the only luggage rack available when I first bought the bike, so I put it on. I also have the Zana International tail rack. Again, that was the only thing that was available when I bought the bike, so I have that on underneath the tail bag. Done videos on all that when I installed it. I think if I was to do it again, there's some other options now that are available I would consider. And I am probably going to change the luggage out to something else, so I'll do videos on that. Of course, you've got the spoke wheel in the back, same as everything else. Yeah. And again, saddlebags, I've got Wolfman luggage bags. I got these at a discount at one of the Overland Expos. This is several model years older. I got both bags, the whole set, for $200, which you can't touch these for less than $500 or $600. So it made sense to buy it when I did. And then I put the little bag holders on because I carry water bottles, miscellaneous stuff in there. I've gotten ridiculed quite a bit for having these on there, but I am not going to put liquid inside of my luggage because I don't want anything leaking in there. And then it makes it easy to grab something to drink when you're out on the trail, or when you stop at a gas station, you want to put something away, you can just throw it in there, and it makes it super simple. And I do carry a lot of water with me. I think carrying water is very important, and having bottle holders just makes it that much easier to carry more water. There's one other thing that I've done to this bike that I have not talked about yet, and that is I put LED bulbs in the back blinkers, and I did that for a specific purpose so that The back of the bike is illuminated if anyone is behind me if I'm making a turn, so there's no question they'll be able to see that. I'm going to do a separate video on why I went with the LED, and as you can see, it blinks pretty fast, but I checked on what the state laws were for how fast blinkers could go, and this meets the state requirements, so it's not over blinking. I have not been able to find where the flashing unit is on this. With LED lights like this, you can replace the flashing unit with a solid state one, and then you don't get this rapid blink. I haven't been able to figure out where it's at. I haven't spent a lot of time looking because this has been functional, but I will cover that in a later video. All right, there it is, the 3-year modification review on my KTM 390 Adventure. I've done quite a bit to it, and with that total being around $5,500, that was a lot more than I expected. I thought it was going to be somewhere around $3,500, maybe $4,000, because I knew the suspension was expensive. But once I started adding everything up, it added up quickly. Now, that's over a 3-year period, and the thing to keep in mind is I love working on my bikes, so it doesn't matter what bike I have, I'm going to be doing little modifications here and there, just because I like doing that. Days I can't get out and ride, maybe I don't have the time, I can go out in the garage, spend an hour wrenching on the bike, and that's just a great way to spend time and decompress a little. So yeah, it's a lot, but I got a lot of entertainment and enjoyment out of it. So anyway, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. If you have any questions about the modifications I've done and you can't find a video on it, let me know. Maybe I have it, you just didn't find it. I'll send you a link. Any other questions, if I haven't done a video, I am more than happy to answer those, so please leave that in the comments below. If you have done a lot of modifications to your bike as well, let me know how much you've spent. Whether it was the KTM 390 Adventure or some other bike, I'd be curious to know what everybody else is spending on their bikes with the modifications. So get out, do some riding, ride safe, and I will see you out there. Oh, yeah, cramp. Oh, that hurt. Oh. All right, so we won't put that leg down. Test.